Welcome, everyone. I'm going to turn it over to Anna Mangum for today's presentation. Anna?
Thank you, Susan. Good morning, all. I hope you have had a wonderful week thus far. And I just want to thank you as professionals in the field for taking a moment out of your workday to listen to this wonderful program and to see that if it fits with your goals for the year of 2025. As Susan mentioned, my name is Anna Mangum, and I serve as a regional manager for NC State University Industry Expansion Solutions. So if you are unfamiliar with what the university does in our department, I'm going to walk through that very quickly before we jump into the internship program, which is the main focus of today's webinar. So IES, or Industry Expansion Solutions, is an organization that's been a part of the College of Engineering here at NC State for roughly 65 years. And our goal is to be outward facing from the university, bringing resources of NC State out into industry. Our primary customers are manufacturers, and most of the employers that participate in this internship program are manufacturers as well, but I'll get into some of the nuances a little later. Industry Expansion Solutions and our primary role and responsibility is to support North Carolina's economic growth through different services that you see here. So these are our solutions in the areas in which our staff has expertise. Our staff that includes about 75 experts in various fields can focus on a number of solutions in helping manufacturers address some challenges or even help in their growth mode, whether it be in adopting new technology, helping with marketing, or developing new products, or whether it be continuous improvement, attaining an ISO certification, helping with their EHS programs, and many other factors. I've been a part of this team at IES for 16 years, and I'll share personally, actually started at IES under the management of one of our lovely senior leaders, Wendy Lang. And I started as an intern. And so when it comes to my passion for the program I'm getting ready to speak about, my career was heavily influenced by my experience as an intern. And I hope that you as employers see the opportunity, not just to work with IES, but also to work with IES in partnership with an internship program that could help really kickstart someone's career. So this program we're going to speak today is called Rural Works. And Rural Works is a program that was started in collaboration between the Career Development Office here at NC State University and our department. Our department faces externally. So we are the ones that recruit and engage with the employers that participate in this program. The Career Development Office, alongside some of our colleagues in the College of Engineering, are the ones that help promote and engage the student body in participating. And so let's jump into what it all encompasses. For those of you who are unfamiliar with NC State's College of Engineering, and I'll say its gravitas, it is a very well-known program across not just North Carolina, but across our country. You might not realize how large our NC State College of Engineering is. It roughly represents 1/3 of the undergraduate student body here at NC State University. It is in growth mode. Last year, when I was giving this presentation, that number was not 8,500, it was 7,700. So we have grown substantially just from last year to this year with our student body studying in engineering. These are bright young students at NC State who really are the top of their class from high school. If you don't understand or might not be familiar with where we rank as a university in engineering, I encourage you to Google it. If you look at where we are ranked in the country and you look at top 25 universities for engineering, we are on that list. If you look and see what the rankings are, it literally stands Duke, Harvard, Princeton, NC State. We are one of the top ranking public colleges of engineering in our nation. And these students are eager to get hands-on experience. And so this is one of the reasons that I am motivated to give my time and help promote this program. And I hope that you will get energized and enthused to get involved through this webinar. So if you look at this list of majors from the College of Engineering where our students are studying, you might see an alignment with where you have potential for hiring some of this student talent, what your workforce pipeline might currently need or might need, let's say, 5 years down the road. And some of the areas that I think, I was quite surprised by when I was looking at the numbers was the popularity of mechanical engineering. Alongside that, we've got a very large student body studying in areas like industrial and aerospace. And I've got some success stories to share with you a little later about some students that are in these programs and the impact that they had on their employers in just 3 months. So let's talk about the history of the program for just 1 minute. It's relatively new. It's only been around for 5 years. And of course, if you reflect back on where we were 5 years ago, this program was launched back in 2019. I got asked to be engaged in the program by one of my strong mentors by the name of Tom White when it was really a concept. And there were only 4 students placed across the state from engineering into the field, gaining hands-on experience with our manufacturing population for their summers. And we have been able to grow this program even during COVID because that was how eager our students were to get involved in the field, practicing engineering with our great state's manufacturers, as well as our manufacturers were hungry for new, innovative talent. We have placed over 600 engineering students working for our manufacturers from the mountains to the coast. And you'll see here just last summer, we placed 147 students across the state in 39 different counties and 83 companies. So if you do the math there, you'll notice that we placed some companies with more than one engineering student from NC State. I had multiple manufacturers in my area, which is South Central North Carolina, that had 4 interns from the College of Engineering because they knew the value that they were going to gain in a 3-month experience with those students. And some of those employers are getting those students back for summer 2025 because they don't want to lose them and they see them as potential long-term employees post-graduation. You might also be looking at this map thinking, what is a tier 1, 2, and 3 county? So let's get into what is rural in the context of this program and whether or not you as an employer can qualify for the program based on rural versus non-rural. So when it comes to rural, that definition is declared by the state legislature, and it's based on an algorithm of population versus wealth in individual counties. And that tier system is economic prosperities 1, 2, and 3. Tier 1 is the most economically depressed in our state. And this map, the most light blue color are our tier 1 counties. Tier 2 is in the middle, and tier 3 are some of our most prosperous 20% of our 100 counties. So let's think. If you are rural, that means you are either a tier 1 or tier 2 county. However, if you are in a tier 3 county and you are in a rural part of that tier 3 county, you might have opportunity to qualify for the program. And you're thinking, wow, Anna, that's a lot of nuance. Well, yes, it is, but you'll have to work with your local regional manager from NC State IES, which is our department, in order to determine whether or not you qualify if you're in a tier 3 county. So as an example, if you're in Mecklenburg County or Wake County, so that's the Charlotte County and the Raleigh County, those cannot be, there is no nuance in any location in those counties that could be qualified as rural. But anybody who knows certain counties on this map who are in dark blue, tier 3, if, let's say as an example, Johnston County. So Johnston County on this map is right here. It's just southeast of Wake County, where Raleigh, our capital, is. If you know Johnston County, you know that we've all seen a lot of growth in Clayton, which is a town, a municipality right on the border of Wake and Johnston County. But if you drive further out into Johnston County and you're down here in Benson, that is right up against Wayne County and Sampson County, which are tier 1 counties. If you go to Benson, or if you're from Benson, you know that that is a very rural area of Johnston County. I mean, look at just the bordering counties. They are tier 1s. And so we do give grace for manufacturers, let's say, in the Benson area and the also Smithfield area. But there is some nuance county by county if you're looking at tier 3s. I want you to keep that in mind in order to understand whether or not you as an employer could qualify for the program. So instead of giving you success stories from my voice this year, I wanted to bring on a true example of a student in NC State, Nathan, who has been a part of the Rural Works program this past summer. And Nathan worked for one of my clients in the Wilton area. And if you're not familiar with Wilton, it's about an hour east of Raleigh. And I engaged with an employer there, Evans Machinery. Evans has a long history. They are a 3rd generation manufacturer in Wilson County. They are still privately held and owned by the family that started them. And they are exemplary in the areas in which their different businesses and customers engage. They make farm equipment machinery, as well as some other product lines that serve other types of customers. But Evans engaged with this program a couple years back and saw immediate results by their first year when they had 2 female engineers working for them that were able to produce over 2,000 CAD drawings and updating the equipment documentation and SOPs within their facility. The second year they engaged in the Rural Works program, Evans brought back one of those female engineers to give her different tasks for the summer. And then they also were incredibly impressed when they had a chance to interview and therefore hire another engineer at NC State by the name of Nathan. And so I'm going to toss it over to Nathan for him to be on screen and share with you a little bit about who he is, why he chose NC State's College of Engineering, and how and why he chose Rural Works and working at Evans Machinery. So Nathan, if you could come on screen, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. My name is Nathan Kiger. As you can see on the screen, I'm a 3rd year in biological and agricultural engineering. I also have a minor in ag entrepreneurship. So I grew up on a very small farm, small sweet potato farm in Nash County. And, throughout my, throughout working on the farm and throughout, many, many hours sitting on a tractor, cultivating sweet potatoes, and earlier on pulling weeds and doing a lot of manual labor, I was very familiar with the ag processes. And I wanted to combine that with my interest in machinery and machine design. And so I actually started here at NC State as a mechanical engineer. And I eventually, because of my experience in agriculture and my fondness of the industry, I switched to biological and agricultural engineering, which is a joint partnership with the College of Engineering and the College of Ag and Life Sciences. So because of my interest in agriculture and wanting to advance certain aspects of it, I was able to take biological and ag engineering. I was able to take a lot of the stuff I've learned and take it into an internship like Evans Machinery. First, though, to give a little background about me, some of my hobbies. So one of my main hobbies is tractor pulling. This is something that some may be familiar with. It's a motorsport in which we're able to modify tractors to pull a sled, a weight transfer machine down the track. And while this may seem just for fun and maybe trivial at first, this is really when I was able to gain my interest in engineering and understanding all the physical principles of how you make a tractor pull a sled further. And it's amazing all these learning about traction, learning about traction coefficients, learning about all sorts of different engine design, the different bore and stroke of motors, and lots of the other mechanical things. When it came to building this tractor here that you see on the screen, that's really, when I was doing that in high school, that's really what inspired me to go into engineering. And so that was really influential hobby early on. I'm also interested in duck hunting, and so that plays a lot into my the biological side of engineering. So I'm very interested in the outdoors. I like to understand how the mechanisms that we design affect the outdoors and the environment that are around us. Also interested in shotgun sports. And so all of these things played into my experience at Evans Machinery. I grew up in a very small area, and so when I first interviewed at Evans, I won't ever forget it. Evans is not exactly on a main road. It's kind of on a back road. And when I went in, um, it was one of those things like, man, this is a little bit different than I expected. But when I got in there and I was able to talk to everybody, I was able to realize how much of a family environment it was. It was really amazing. And of course, there's all different, Rural Works has all different kinds of internships from all different types of places. But there's lots of different students in NC State, and tons of diversity of thought and diversity of experiences. And for me, working at Evans, even because it was a smaller family-owned engineering firm, with lots of manufacturing capabilities, really worked out. But anyway, some of the NC State clubs I do. So I'm in the Bluegrass Club. I play mandolin and guitar. I am in ASABE. And so I'm now currently able to work with that and connect Evans with some more ASABE standards, and was able to use a lot of those standards in my work over the summer. I'm also a packed pullers club officer. So it's really cool because I'm used to tractor pulling. NC State actually has a quarter scale tractor pulling team. And so I was able to get connected with them this year. And I'm now the rules manager for them. Just to give a little background from my high school, I was a Future Farmers of America chapter president and regional officer. That's where my love of agriculture really bloomed, and the leadership that goes into agriculture. I was also on the baseball team, and I was also the regional tennis champion. So I did a few different things in sports. And it was kind of interesting, just a quick little story. So I was playing baseball my my freshman, sophomore, and junior year. And then all of a sudden the tennis coach come to me, and I was planning on starting, but I came out, I tried out for tennis just to give it a try. This was during COVID. And so I was actually able to get a number 2 seed on the team. And that year I went and won the regionals. And I played a very different style from everybody. But it was kind of a good, kind of a life lesson to show that I was able to, overcome and play a little bit different way. And I realized that, there's lots of different ways to, to tackle a problem. And so I played differently than everybody, and that was a real advantage for me. That was something that I carried over into my engineering school. So specifically with my internship with Evans Machinery, some of the processes and some of the things that we worked on. So me and Heather, the other intern, we worked on a complete redesign of a fertilizer bucket elevator. And so when we were working on this was a really big project. And so the first thing I won't ever forget, Avery they put it on our desk. He said, "Hey, we want you to design a bucket elevator." And so I had seen a bucket elevator before that was used in grain. I sort of knew what they looked like, but I did not have any experience when it came to designing them. There's a lot of things that we had to learn throughout the process. But it was one of those things that I really learned to be able to talk to other employers and other people in the area. And so there's a guy right on the other side of me, Gary. He had been there for I think he said 32 years. So he had been there a very long time. He had drawn a many of bucket elevators of all different types for all different designs and different materials and everything. And so I was really able to learn from him. And I was able to kind of get an idea of what the past designs were. I was able to get an idea of what were the typical Evans Machinery designs. But Avery, one of the engineers, and Charles, another engineer there, was able to push me to not only just design it just like Gary had designed it for the last 30 years, but to push and try to find a different way to make a change. And so we actually made a change. Instead of in the bottom of the elevator, we actually had a curve instead of a square. And so that would keep fertilizer from sticking up there. And if you know much about fertilizer, it is very corrosive. So anytime you have fertilizer sitting still, you're going to have a problem. I don't care if it's stainless. I don't care if no matter what material you have, fertilizer can create issues. So that was one of the advantages. And we saw that we really think that that'll improve bucket efficiency. And through this design's already getting built. pretty soon, and it's going down to South Carolina. And so hopefully, now that I'm going to work at Evans over next summer, I'll be able to see part of that process follow through and be able to see one of the bucket elevators that we helped design be installed in South Carolina next summer. We also helped with the field installation, so I was able to actually go out in the field. This is one of my favorite parts, and this really plays into what I will be doing next summer. So as you can see here, this was one of the bucket elevators and stairwells that we were built, that the Evans Machinery built about a year ago. And so we had to go install a divider at the top of this elevator here. And so we had to climb all the way to the top of that with all the proper safety equipment. And we went up there and were able to kind of help and understand what it actually looks like to physically install these devices. So all these things that we've been drawing up for the last month, we were able to go up there and actually physically install them ourselves. And we actually, I went back and I changed quite a few things about my design because I realized just how difficult it was to get, something 40, 50, 60, 50, 80 feet in the air, all the way up in the air and to go install it. And so it was really nice to be able to go out in the field. We also did a complete redesign of their conveyor systems. So we had SEMA approved conveyor systems, and we were able to do a redesign of those. And so those are also going down to that project in South Carolina that I was talking about earlier. And then we also, over the winter break, I actually came back and I did a hydraulic schematic for them. So Evans was kind enough to let me come back over winter break and get some hours in. And I was able to work on a hydraulic schematic for a tender trailer that they had been working on. And so I had heard about the trailer. I wasn't able to work on it much over the summer, but now that it's progressed along, it's almost the point of being complete. And one of the last things they needed was a hydraulic schematic. So I was able to learn, actually learned how to do 2D software, something I didn't have a lot of experience with, but I was able to do that and draw up a hydraulic schematic for one of the tender trailers I had. And that was a really neat experience because it's something I didn't know how to do. And so that was a lot of the opportunities that RealWorks gave me, and working with Evans gave me, was the opportunity to learn something that I didn't, previously know about. And I learned how to actually apply all these principles that we learn in engineering school, and we have the great principles of engineering school, but it's so good when we're able to actually apply them. So with the hydraulic schematic, I just got done taking fluid mechanics, and that was a really tough class, but I learned a lot of good things from that class. And it was amazing. I said, wow, okay, when I'm sizing this line and when I'm sizing, this line, hydraulic pump, this valve, how am I able to, use all the principles from fluid mechanics and see how it's actually done on a practical basis. And so that was a really neat thing. We also got to dive into a little bit of cost analysis. So I was able to, we had a little bit of free time. And so I made a cost analysis spreadsheet for the SEMA approved conveyors. So one of the problems that I saw we had, it took about 2 weeks to ever get a quote out for a lot of these conveyors. And so I was able to make a spreadsheet that if you type in, I think it was about 10 variables. And so there's a bunch of different, the length of the conveyor, the width, how much material you need to convey, what type of material you need to convey, and stuff like that. And if you were able to put those in, it was actually able to give you a pretty close quote for everything but the material. And then from there, the material was easier to quote. And so it was really able to speed up the quoting time. And so, I was really able to find some success with the cost analysis and with the field, going out in the field and installing stuff. So next summer, I'm actually doing the internship again at Evans Machinery, but I'm gonna have a little bit different role. And I'm really excited about that role because I'll be able to actually go out in the field. I'll be able to work with in more of a sales engineering role and actually go out to the field and work to help install some of the equipment, meet with some of the operators of the fertilizer places, and kind of work on different cost analysis and kind of bring a new perspective to some of the cost saving practices that Evans already has in place. So I'm really excited about that because even though it's with the same company, I'll have a very different role, doing a lot less physical design work and a lot more focus on cost analysis and meeting different customers.
Nathan, that is such an amazing example of how RuralWorks engages students of your caliber with clients in the field. We're talking about, again, a third generation family owned manufacturer that is very salt of the earth in a very rural area in Wilson. And they were able to recruit Nathan, and they allowed Nathan to practice classic engineering, demonstrate innovation, new product development, different kind of ingenuity that their on-staff engineers had not done before, allowed him to install some new equipment that he designed alongside the other intern. Then they allowed him to work on financials as it related to the engineering work that he had performed. They are putting enough trust in him after they saw his dedication and his aptitude in engineering to place him in the field with a customer-facing role for this upcoming summer. So I think that in itself speaks to volumes on the value that Evans gains by having this student work for their facility. Mind you, last year, Nathan was a sophomore. So when you're thinking about, is this program going to be valuable enough for me to dedicate my time and attention to? Hopefully, by listening to Nathan, you can understand and appreciate the value of resource we're giving you by placing engineering students from NC State into your facility. But as Nathan mentioned, NC State College of Engineering is diverse. Not all of them are in mechanical or biological engineering. And I want to share with you one more example. And this student, unfortunately, could not be with us today. But I want to share you just one other example from last summer of a student who performed very well with a manufacturer, Eden Aerospace in Middlesex, North Carolina. So some of you might be familiar with Eden. However, you might not know that their aerospace facility is located in Middlesex, North Carolina. Now, Middlesex, North Carolina is just over the border in Nash County. And when I had a chance to meet this student, his name is Sid. I met him while speaking at a Engineering 102 class, and he certainly stood out. After I passed my business card on to him, I said, if you're interested in getting an internship, I encourage you to give me a call. I want to learn more about who you are and what might you consider taking on as a freshman to get the experience that you're looking for. Turns out over that phone call, not only he followed up with me in a phone call, we ended up talking for about half an hour. I learned that he and I went to the same high school. And so we immediately connected. And I will say our high school is incredibly academically challenging. He came into NC State his first year with enough credits to be declared a junior. He is double majoring in aerospace engineering and nuclear engineering. He speaks 3 languages. He was an Eagle Scout. He has licenses in sailing. And you can also see his technical aptitudes and certifications down there alongside some of the technical clubs that he is a part of here at NC State. So Sid got a Rural Works internship this past summer with Eden Aerospace. And he worked on a multitude of projects that you see listed out in this diagram. And one of the engineers on their staff worked with him to help calculate the value that each one of these projects has to the company. So in 3 months, Sid worked on 8, 10 different projects, totaling the value of over $100,000. He's a freshman at State. And one of his most prideful projects he worked on was designing and building and implementing the performance press sleeve lift that you see here on the left-hand side of your screen. And so, again, this is just a very different story from Nathan's, but it speaks to the diversity of talent and the capabilities of the students that we have. Again, you know, Sid's majoring in aerospace and nuclear engineering, and he was able to perform a continuous improvement mechanical engineering project design and implementation. These kids are eager to apply what they're learning in the classroom in facilities like yours all over the state, in all different kinds of facilities and all different kinds of communities. Just yesterday, I was on the phone with an engineering manager from facility down in Laurinburg, and he was asking if the students could stay, that they're going to employ this upcoming summer again at UNC Pembroke, because they have to identify solutions for where these students can stay in rural areas that might be unique. And so I'll get to those nuances again in just a minute. But this is what Sid's boss from the summer had to say about his performance and about his professionalism. I'll let you read that on your own. So Zach actually filled out a survey recently for our department as well as the deans, validating that $113,000. And if you're wondering, well, how much is this going to cost me if I'm getting out the value that a Sid or a Nathan is providing to these other employers in the area? So this program is unique. As I mentioned, it was started back in 2019, and it has continued to grow. And the way that it is enabling growth and attracting students to work in rural areas like Middlesex and Wilson and Laurinburg is because we're incentivizing our students at NC State and the College of Engineering to take these unique internship experiences in rural North Carolina through funds that our dean has placed aside to promote our students getting experiences in places that they otherwise might even not know about. And so the financial agreement is, if you, the employer, are willing to pay $15 an hour for our student talent, like Nathan, like Sid, we at the College of Engineering will support a $10 match for your $15 an hour. That means these students will be making $25 an hour, which is a competitive wage for their talent, and they are getting incentivized to take positions in, let's say, otherwise possibly overlooked sections of our state. We're the land grant university here in the state of North Carolina, and we want to make sure that the talent we are growing with that 8,500 student body in College of Engineering really makes an impact and brings value mountains to the coast in every region of our state. And we want these students to gain that experience, not only from an academic and a technical experience, but also from a life experience, and know and think about, when I graduate, maybe I want to look at opportunities and live in a place like Wilson. Or maybe I want to take an opportunity or a role or apply for a full-time position when I graduate in a place like Transylvania County. And it's really just really rewarding to see these students be successful. And just on Tuesday of this week, I got to visit one of the students who participated in this program 3 years in a row when it was brand new. And he is now one of the 4 full-time engineers in Clinton, North Carolina, at the Schindler Escalator Plant that designs, builds, and implements Schindler escalators all across North America. So to see this bright young talent take his experience from an internship and turn it into the trust and the full-time hire as a Schindler engineer is incredibly rewarding. So I'm going to pause here and just share your next steps, if you're interested in this program, is to look across this screen and take note as to what county you're affiliated with and who your local regional manager is. They are the ones that you need to contact, who can walk you through how to sign up for the program, how to write an attractive job description to encourage the right kind of talent to apply for your facility. Just to let you know, we can only subsidize 150 students across the state this year based on the dean's budget. And already, with the interest from returning employers, we already have 103 positions posted for our students to apply to under the Rural Works program. And if you're thinking, well, who might be interested in working for my company in Dare County, or my company in, let's say, Wayne County or Randolph County? Well, with the 103 positions that are posted right now, Rural Works has an incredible amount of popularity with our College of Engineering students. There are 1,852 applicants from our students against those 103 jobs. I've got a client in Wilton that's a machine shop with 15 employees. And in speaking with their owner yesterday, he was slightly overwhelmed because he has 100 applicants of students wanting to gain experience in his machine shop. So I hope that today our stories and our program description has encouraged you to consider hiring our bright young talent from NC State who are incredibly eager to bring value to you, show their worth, and for you to have a return on that investment of $15 an hour.